Everyone, today I'm going to show you how I meal prep over here at the Braden home. So I like to keep things really simple. I'm not one to really overdo things or overthink it. Well, I do, but I've learned with meal prepping to keep it simple. That's the best for my home. So what I'm going to make today is spaghetti squash, and I have some organic spaghetti sauce that only has 3 grams of sugar. I like low sugar. I don't want anything with a lot of junk and preservatives in it, so make sure you look at that before you purchase your spaghetti sauce if you're going to. The seasonings I use are Flavor God. Running low. I have some more in my camper that I need to get out, but so I keep these on hand. They're low sodium and they are paleo, they're low salt, gluten-free, all natural. And I know you have to watch all natural, but these really are good spices from Flavor God. He's awesome. If you don't have these, I would definitely check him out. He's on Instagram and everything. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how I cut my spaghetti squash and how I cook it. The other thing I'm going to be making is browning some ground turkey to go in the sauce for this spaghetti squash. I will also use the rest of the ground turkey to make just little hamburger patties with this seasoning. And then I also am going to bake some chicken. I will steam my veggies. Usually I do those kind of on the same day because for me they just get soggy and I don't like the way that is. Another thing I use when I brown my turkey meat, some of it I'm going to use for like a taco salad, and I will use this broccoli slaw. I use it for breakfast as well. I don't meal prep breakfast because I like my eggs freshly cooked and with my bacon or whatever I might, turkey bacon or sausage or veggies, whatever it might be. So I use this sometimes in place of the veggies and in place of salad because I just like it. So anyway, I do that. And then I also top a lot of my things with pumpkin seeds. I open this upside down, but they're raw pumpkin seeds from Trader Joe's. I don't want to flip it and have an issue, but I use that as well. So anyway, first things first, we're going to get started with the spaghetti squash. This is it right here, and I wouldn't use a knife like this. I would use a knife like this. Sometimes they're a little hard to cut, so just be careful. So the first thing I do is the end right here, I'm going to cut that off. So I'm going to lean on this and do it kind of like a little seesaw. And it's off. This one was easy. Sometimes they're harder than others. So the next thing I do is I put it down on that flat end, and in the center of it, I go down. If you've never had a spaghetti squash, I go down. If you've never had a spaghetti squash, you'll see that it has seeds in the center, very similar to like a pumpkin. So it takes some pressure, and you're going to go. I didn't really get that centered, but it'll be okay. It'll still cook well. So if you see, in the middle of a spaghetti squash, they have seeds. You will need a spoon and a trash can. I have my handy dandy trash can pulled out already. So I will use a spoon. And so you're going to gut this. That's what you're going to do right now. See? No more seeds. This one's going to be a little different since I didn't cut it too evenly. No more seeds. Okay, so the next step is baking the spaghetti squash. That's all you have to do next. Some people like to put oil on it. I wouldn't use vegetable oil or canola oil. I prefer avocado oil, which you can find organic, non-GMO avocado oil at Costco. I've gotten a big bottle, and I'm actually out right now, but I don't necessarily put anything on here. I get a pan or a baking dish right here, and I fill it with about maybe 1/2 inch of water. That's all I fill it up with. And then I will pick a flavoring, or like a seasoning that I like. So I'm going to be making it with spaghetti, so I would either choose lemon garlic or garlic lovers. I'm going to do garlic lovers. My voice. Okay, so I'm going to just season this on here over the pan. Inside, just shake it all over. And then put it face down into the dish. You're going to do it with the same with the opposite. And there you go. face down in the water. That'll help steam it and get it softer because you don't want crunchy spaghetti squash. So I've already preheated my oven. I preheated my oven to 375 already. And so you'll take this and just throw it in there. You're going to cook these for 45 minutes. So set your timer and throw your top away. And that's it for baking spaghetti squash. That's all it takes. It's really simple. All right, so while I'm waiting for the spaghetti squash to cook, another thing I'm going to be doing is steaming sweet potatoes. I have a handy dandy steamer right here that my wonderful madre got me. It's really simple. So I love this because I need that part. This right here is holding the bottom, so it steams right up from there. This dish catches the water, and you just fill up this bottom part to the level you need to steam. It's really awesome. So I'm going to fill this up. All right, so with sweet potatoes, they're going to steam for about 30 minutes. So you want to make sure that you have plenty of water in there. All right, so while that is getting ready in there, I'm going to peel my sweet potatoes. So I get the organic ones from the grocery store, and they tend to be a little small around here. When I was in Pennsylvania, they were pretty big. Here, they're kind of tiny. So you might want to rethink if you're getting like supersized giant sweet potatoes. You might want to check on that and make sure it's not genetically modified if that is something that you're worried about. So I'm going to grab some of these. I'm probably not going to peel all of these, but we'll see. My peeler. All right, so you're going to peel some of these. Okay, so I think that is plenty of sweet potatoes. Now I'm going to rinse them off and get them ready to cut. So now they are all rinsed off and ready to chop up. So what I do is I just go ahead and put my steamer lid on there, and as I cut them up, I will just place them in here. These are tiny, so they're really easy to cut, but I cut them into little tiny cubes because then when I go to scoop them, when it's time to eat, it's really simple and easy. When my husband is working, I will place them into different containers. When we're both home, I tend to just put them in one big container and we can scoop it as we go. It takes up a lot less room in the fridge. So anyway, I am going to get to chopping. So this is about how big I make my pieces. All right, I have all my sweet potatoes now all chopped up into little cubes, as you can see. I like to just put pepper on mine or cinnamon, so you can put whatever you want. I put it on after I cut them up because when it steams, I just feel like it gets in there and I don't have to re-season it when it comes out. And I can always add pepper later, so I usually steam it with cinnamon. It just has that good taste to it. So I don't put it throughout the entire thing. I just kind of shake a little bit on top. All right, so now I'm going to steam these, put the lid on, and I will set the timer for about 30 minutes on this. Okay, so now my spaghetti squash and my sweet potatoes are done. What I do to check my spaghetti squash to make sure it is completely done is when I pull it out, be careful in case you have water still sitting in there, is I like to take a fork and push it through the skin. If it goes through easily, then it's perfect. And so be careful if it's still really hot. You don't want to, see the steam, burn yourself. But as you can see in here, the seasoning's still all in it. It's a little brown right there, and it's perfect. When you take a fork to it, this is what makes it so awesome, is, let me place this right here, is when you take your spaghetti squash, you'll see this little piece right here, and let me move this down to where you can see it. All right, so when you take your spaghetti squash, if you just take your fork and go scoop down it, it's gonna come straight out and look like little pieces of spaghetti. You can see that. So I will do all that into a bowl, and I will show you the end result when we're done doing this. The next thing I'm making is my baked chicken. Normally when I'm not recording, I would have it all in the oven at the same time so I don't have to wait. But my baked chicken, I covered it with my Flavor God seasoning. I used a mix of lemon, garlic, the everything, and the garlic lovers, because that's what I do. So I'm gonna throw this in the oven for 30 minutes at 375. Okay, so the chicken and the shish kebabs are done. So I have the kebabs over here, and when I meal prep, I'm just gonna put them in foil instead of having to put them in anything else, because it's real easy to wrap and unwrap. And my baked chicken is done. So now what I'm gonna do is chop it up and throw it in a container. Okay, so while I'm cutting up the chicken, I also have my ground turkey meat browning right now, so you can do more than one thing at a time. Okay, so I cut up all my chicken and I put it right into a little container, and that way I can scoop it into a container on a plate as I need. And this is my ground turkey meat. What I ended up doing was adding Flavor God seasoning. I did a mixture of all of it, spicy everything, all of the seasonings. And I added a little bit, maybe a quarter cup of water, let it boil, mix it up, and then I just put it in a container. Now I will add this to my spaghetti sauce as I make it, so I can know the exact measurement of the meat that's in my sauce. And I will also make a little taco salad with my broccoli slaw and this as the week goes on, so I can use it for a variety of things instead of throwing it in the sauce and only having it for one option. Okay, so for the last part of the proteins, I'm going to use this turkey meat. I get the extra lean turkey meat, and so I'm going to make hamburger patties out of this. What I do is I will take my Flavor God seasoning, just pour it all over the top of the meat, whatever I want in there. Then I mix it up, make my patty, and throw it on the skillet, and we will have hamburger patties. Alright, so I am done with my meal prep. I have the turkey burgers that are now done, and while they were browning, I was able to clean my pots and pans. So you can get a lot of stuff done while you're cooking. And so here are my hamburger patty, or turkey burger patties, and we will have those with some steamed veggies and sweet potatoes. I have my ground turkey meat that I will use either for my spaghetti squash, and I will add it in with my sauce. I do that as it comes so I don't have to use up all my meat for that. Otherwise, I top some organic broccoli slaw with this and kind of make like a little taco salad, or I will get some lettuce and I will put it in there and use that as a boat, like as a taco shell instead of a real taco shell. I have my shish kebabs, and then these are my sweet potatoes. I steamed these, and that's how they came out, little cubes. And you can actually, they're really soft, so you can warm it up, mash them, and have sweet potato mashed potatoes. And my husband and I also do Shakeology, so he will drink chocolate, and I will drink vegan chocolate for one of our meals during the day to help out. So that's really helpful. It takes up a whole meal, and when you're eating lean meats and organic foods, it's costly, so that really helps us with price. And then these are my frozen vegetables. I have some organic cauliflower and broccoli, and I usually steam those on the same day. Sometimes I cook them ahead of time, but they seem to get soggy sitting in the fridge, and I don't really like that. The other thing I do is I have fresh fruit always, and So I get my apples, and I will take 1 or 2 teaspoons of some Trader Joe's almond butter. I get raw, no salt, and I can dip that in there. And when I make coffee, this is just another little a little tip thing I can add in here, is I do a teaspoon of coconut oil. I get the I get local non-GMO, I cannot talk, organic non-GMO coconut oil. And then I also get some raw local honey. That's what I was making. And I put 1 teaspoon of each in my coffee if I do have coffee that day. But that's pretty much it. I do make my breakfast every day. If I'm traveling, I might make some egg frittatas or do some hard-boiled eggs, which is another great thing to do for meal prepping. But I'm home right now, so I don't really plan on doing that. But another thing, if you're on the 21-day fix like I am, when I'm not traveling or my husband's not working, I put them all in one container. And you can take these little handy-dandy containers and just scoop your food and put it on your plate, and that way you're not taking up too much room in your refrigerator, and you have your portions every day as you go, so you don't have to worry about that. Otherwise, I put them in separate containers or baggies. So anyway, I hope this helps you with meal prepping. It's really simple. It's nothing too extravagant, but it gets the job done, and I like it. It's enjoyable. It's great tasting food. So anyway, have a great day.